On this episode, we have part one of our latest trip review, and today we're discussing Boulder Ridge Villas at Wilderness Lodge, 2023 Food and Wine Festival, and dinner at Akershus. Today is August 1st, 2023. This is episode 588 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We would not be doing a review on Akershus for dinner today if it was not for the wonderful folks over at Mouse Dining.
Woohoo.
So Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. This is completely free to you. There is a slight upcharge if you would like to get text messaging and some of those things, but this really does work. You go onto their website, you pick the day you want, you pick the meal you want, you pick the restaurant you want, and when one of those reservations becomes available, they alert you and provide you a link to click and literally go right in and book it. A lot of these dining reviews that we have done recently is all thanks to Mouse Dining because we were unable to get them at 60 days out. So go to msmfriends.com and you can use this free service.
So today we are talking about our weekend that we had, and we're going to go ahead and break it up into two episodes, one for Tuesday, which is today, and one for Friday, because I'm back to work 3 12-hour days, and then our kids go back to school next Thursday. So we are finishing their summer out with a stay at Fort Wilderness in Camper Rental Adventures. Super, super excited for this.
We had so much fun doing this last year that we were like, we got to do this again.
We allow them to each bring a friend because the camper that we can rent is huge. And there's a lot of people that can sleep in it. So we always allow them to bring a friend. Yeah.
And to be honest, this becomes a little bit of a staycation, because they don't have annual passes and the friends don't have them. So, there's so much to do at Fort Wilderness that we've mentioned in the past that this is what we like to do. We'll hit the pool. We'll go down on the beach and watch fireworks at night. We'll cook. We're going to get vacation grocery delivery to deliver all our groceries Thursday when we get there.
We are going to try Trails Inn, though.
Yeah, we will try the all-new Trails Inn, quick service there. And I do want to grab a drink at Crockett's Tavern. At least once, and that'd be a great spot to meet up with Rachel and Chris that are coming down and staying in a cabin. Tay and Steph are coming down from Charleston for the weekend, so they're going to actually be over at Coronado Springs, but they're going to come over and visit us. I've got some other friends that are going to come visit us at the campground just to hang out, and it'll be a lot of fun, and we may cook one big dinner or something one night and just relax and enjoy and go do movies under the stars and the sing-along and all kinds of stuff, because we missed it when you and I did our quick 24-hour car camping trip. We didn't make it to movies under the stars or the campground sing-along. So that's not what we're talking about today. And as Rhonda mentioned, this is kind of what we did with last time. It's Sunday. We're home in the afternoon. We don't have time to record again this week like we normally do. We usually record Tuesday's episode on Sunday, Friday's episode on Thursday. We'll be gone Thursday. So one reason that we're doing this in 2 parts is that. Another reason is it's a lot to cover. We did a lot.
Yeah, we did.
So we're going to do same as last time with Universal just this past week. We're going to basically, for the most part, run through the trip as it happened.
Okay.
Really. And, we'll cover food and wine. We're going to cover the Boulder Ridge Villas that we stayed in. And we're going to cover Akershus dinner today. Then on the next episode on Friday, we're going to cover what else? I don't even remember now. I think next episode, we're going to look at covering the Flavors of Florida Chef series with Steve Lewis from Gideon's that we went to at Disney Springs, which was awesome.
Yak and Yeti.
Yeah, Yak and Yeti lunch. We had an awesome Geyser Point meetup with our Wonderland crew folks. And then we did Cape May Cafe after we checked out this morning for breakfast.
Yay!
Rhonda finally got it.
Woo!
We get to hear her thoughts. She is going to be in charge of that portion of the review on the next episode. So we're going to go ahead and get to this episode, though. And what we'll do first is we drove straight down, and Chuck and Amy were there all week. They were actually moving over from the Poly. So they left the Poly that morning. They came over to Boulder Ridge. They checked in. They dropped off their luggage. Then they actually went back to Poly for Ohana breakfast.
Yes, they did.
With some other friends and all that had been there all week. So we were going to come down, and we had said, hey, we're going to get down there. We're going to go to Epcot, and Rhonda and I are going to hit Food and Wine and try and do some live streams, get some content, and then we'll meet up with you guys later in the afternoon. We can meet up with everyone. And so we thought, though, instead of driving to Epcot and parking and just not knowing how the day might go and knowing we had dinner at Epcot that evening, but we'd want to go back to the room at some point, we decided to drive straight to Boulder Ridge.
We did.
The room was not ready. Arrived, 10:30 like we normally do. And, parked the car and then went and hopped on a bus.
Yep.
Let's talk first about the buses, and then we'll get into some of the details of Boulder Ridge, which is located at Wilderness Lodge. Talk about the buses. The bus system, of course, is like any other bus system. But here, we have some sharing going on. So that's the one thing I just want people to be aware of.
Well, first, it really depends. When we went to Epcot, when you and I went on Thursday, it went straight to Epcot, and it didn't go anywhere else.
Right.
And it was
But
fine.
it had come most likely from Fort Wilderness. Because it does share a bus with Fort Wilderness.
There was nobody on there, though.
Yeah, but I think it was enough after Epcot opened that I don't think that anybody got on it at Fort Wilderness, but we don't know for sure.
Correct. And we don't even know if it did come from somewhere or not. But I will say, over the course of the weekend, not only did it come from or go to Fort Wilderness, it also did the Contemporary. Yeah. Which was super weird.
Yep. So one day we shared one trip. We shared the bus with the Contemporary.
Yep.
And it's not a huge issue. It's going to take 5-10 maybe minutes out of your day. But it's good to know when you're trying to get to your Tron virtual queue, which will then actually you'd be taking a boat. But let's just say you're trying to get to your dinner reservation at Hollywood Studios. And you're thinking, all right, Hollywood Studios, it's about 15-20 minutes from Wilderness Lodge. I'll hop on the bus. Running a little behind, we're good. And the next thing you know, it goes to Fort Wilderness or it goes to Contemporary or something. Right. So, Disney always says allow 90 minutes to get anywhere. And this might be one of those cases. But I got to say, if this was one of those times where, the one time it was taking a little long, so we went ahead and hopped in an Uber. I called an Uber. But every other time we rode a bus, to and from was pretty dang good on timing. It was all within that 15-minute window, if not much less. So bus system ran great. And yes, if you are looking to go to Magic Kingdom, there is a bus that will go to Magic Kingdom, but I think you're better off doing the boat. Now, if you're not a boat person, then you can opt for the bus, but the boat's wonderful to go over to Magic Kingdom. Yeah. It's just, it's one of my favorite transportations there. All right, Rhonda, run through our initial bullet points of the Boulder Ridge Villas.
Well, your cost range is anywhere from $453 up to $2,426 a night. It is category deluxe villa. It is in the Magic Kingdom area. The opening date was actually November 15th, 2000.
I can't believe it's been 23 years since this portion was built. Because this is an exterior building from the main lodge. Now, they are connected by a covered walkway.
Thank God.
Which is great.
Of the rain.
Yeah, because it's going to rain. So you can get to the main building through there. 136 rooms. So it's not got a ton of rooms. You'll know why in a minute. And it's this 1860s like railroad hotels of the American West. It's, it's woodsy. It's everything is logs. It's very cabin.
Oh, it's so cool.
And this has studios. It has 1 bedrooms and it has 2 bedrooms.
Okay.
So while the initial size of the building looks much larger, you got to think there's only 136 rooms because there's a lot of 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms. They're taking up a lot more space. We have stayed in Boulder Ridge before. We've done a studio with DVC points before. And Chuck and Amy were super nice to invite us down. They had rented with their DVC a 2-bedroom villa and invited us to come stay in the 2nd bedroom for the opening of Food and Wine. So we could all hang out for 3 nights in 4 days, which was absolutely awesome.
It was.
Boulder, there's nothing like the main lodge.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And the lobby and walking in.
Yes.
And that's where you walk in to check in.
Yes.
And that's the first thing you want to see if you're going to Wilderness Lodge in general.
So cool.
But Boulder Ridge has this homey, more like log cabin house feel.
Yeah.
Because you walk into this beautiful, much, 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 much smaller lobby.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still a lobby area.
What, 4 floors?
Yeah, 4. I think there are 4 or 5 floors total. and there's this huge chandelier hanging down because as soon as you walk in, it's a big like open rotunda that you can look all the way up, and like walkways to the rooms and all are all surrounding it. But then there's all these little like nooks, I feel like, in other little areas that you can go hang out. There's fireplaces. There's
cool.
spots just to like sit and get work done in the morning if you need. You need some peace and quiet, or maybe in the evening you take games down with your family or friends, and there's little areas that have couches and card tables almost, and it's so homey.
Yes,
and the one thing I love about it too is everything was refurbed recently as well. So like there's all new carpet on the floors with your rooms and
which
all.
Is so cool and pretty.
Yeah, and lots of nice little like hidden Mickeys in it. And then there's like L bracket things up in the corners of the hallways that have an wrought iron Mickey head, hidden Mickey kind of thing up there. But what I love about this is because the fireplaces are always burning. No matter what it's like outside, as soon as you walk in that front door, first of all, it's freezing cold from the AC.
Yes.
But when you walk in towards that rotunda area, especially when you go up some of the floors, you feel this warmth from the fires come up, and it doesn't feel like, wow, we're in Florida in July and I know it's 1,000 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Why is it warm in here? It just feels like home. Like it feels all of a sudden like the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, and you can kind of smell the fire a little bit, even though it's not wood burning. Like it's so homey.
Yeah.
I love it. So
it is fun.
Talk about our room, because this is the first, I mean, we've been inside of 2 bedrooms and 1 bedrooms and things like that before for the DVC. And a lot of times the ones we've been in, I mean, most recently Saratoga Springs.
Right.
A lot of them are the like lock-offs. So you have a 1-bedroom setup. You have a studio next to it, connecting door that can either be locked off. So you have a 1-bedroom and a studio, or that door can basically be unlocked and you can rent it as a 2-bedroom. But you have 2 exterior entry doors.
Right. One
to the studio, one to the 1-bedroom. Again, you can connect them or not. This was a straight up 2-bedroom only. So talk about the room layout coming in. Share that, because I think this is my favorite. This is my favorite Disney room we've ever stayed in.
It's the same as Saratoga.
Is it though?
Yeah. But anyways.
Well, first of all, I like the theming here so much better.
I just started to say.
We'll say that.
So it's like a little small foyer, I guess, and then a closet right to your right, which is funny because I would think of it like almost like a coat closet, like in a house, in an apartment. But there's still places where you can put stuff, put some luggage, put whatever. I mean, it's a nice size closet. And then after you kind of almost walk around to your left, you're into the living area where you have a like bench seating for your table and 2 chairs as well. And then you have a couch and a bar with 2 bar stools and a full kitchen with even a garbage disposal, dishwasher, stove, all like glasses, fully stocked.
Yeah, I mean, we made breakfast
fridge.
Saturday morning, and everything we needed to cook our breakfast and all it comes with,
and nice plates and glasses, not just paper.
Right.
And then
what was the best part about the kitchen that we were surprised that would be very useful in the mornings?
I don't remember.
That nice Keurig coffee machine.
Oh, I started to say that, but then I was like, wait. Yeah, it was super cool because this Keurig, you could actually make an entire pot, or you could just make 1 cup K-Cups. Yeah. And they actually had both coffees for the K-Cups and the pot coffee, and it was awesome. And
what I love about these Keurigs, and we have a similar thing. It's not Keurig brand, but they have the water reservoirs in them. Right. So like first morning, I filled up that water reservoir, and I'm not 100% sure if we added water to it again. We might have one more time, but it's just nice. It was real quick to wake up. And first day, Amy made a whole pot of coffee for the 3 of you, and then because everybody was kind of up at the same time, and then the other days as people kind of staggered coming out and getting up or whatever, it was easy just to pop a K-Cup in there. And Disney's providing you with those, and it's DVC, so they're not doing daily housekeeping, which you could certainly call at any point and get more. Which was nice. And then, so that couch that is there is also a queen-size Murphy bed.
Yes, and I was just going to say that. And it does have this big old trunk, too, that is like, I don't know, did it open? I didn't
even check to see if it opened, to be honest.
To have
put
more
stuff in
storage
there.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
But on top was the 100 collection, like
the book,
which was
literally
really cool.
coffee table book.
Yeah, and then literally you you
huge
pull that
TV out
Murphy,
there.
yeah, pull that Murphy bed down, and it's a nice bed.
Yeah.
We slept on it when we were at Saratoga Springs with them.
They're very, very comfy. And what I love
yes.
out here, like decor wise, and this would kind of go throughout, is that it's all of this like Mickey and Friends, outdoorsy wilderness camping artwork.
Yes. It's
Like you
so
fold
cool.
down the bed and it's like
Oh
a,
my
a
gosh.
canyon, and Mickey and Pluto have set up a tent and
it's so
have like
cool.
a little fire going. They had those awesome 4 prints that are above the dining room table.
They had like, what are they called? Vases, or however you say it. But
sitting up on the shelves.
clay looking and
Little
with
Mickey
heads.
heads.
Super cool.
This was such a comfy, great area to hang out.
Yep.
And we did. And we certainly took advantage of it.
And that is the balcony.
Yeah.
It is a smaller balcony, in my opinion.
Balcony made for 2. It fits 2 chairs and a little table in between you and not much more.
Perfect.
You couldn't fit another chair out there or anything. But it didn't really matter because talk about the second bedroom. And then we'll move over to the other side of the first.
Yeah. So coming off of that is a bedroom, the second bedroom, and it's got a wooden door, which is super cool.
And that's just some of
I
those
love
touches.
all that touches. Yeah. And there's 2 queen beds in there, and then a very, very large bathroom area. Like,
it was insane.
So big. Like, for example, there's a large closet in there. Plenty of room.
Walk-in closet.
Yes. 1 sink, but plenty of room and everything else.
That was the only thing that surprised me. I'm shocked that didn't have 2 sinks in there.
Too.
Because you had 1 sink in the middle, and I'm not kidding, 3 to 4 foot of counter space on each side. Like, that's how large this area was. Yeah. It was funny because my only gripe about the whole place really is there's almost just wasted space. Like, this area was so large, you almost just felt like they were wasting a little bit of space. I don't know what else they would have done with it. I mean, heck, you could have even on the other side there, because as you walked into the bathroom, on the left was the sink, and then there's a door on the left that goes into where the toilet and the shower with tub are. On the right side's the door that goes into that walk-in closet. But then there's another huge area there just open where they almost could have fit like
something,
if you had, like a tub,
yeah,
had maybe a stand-up shower in the toilet room portion, and then either had a tub there, or you could have put another small vanity, or heck, you could have had another whole sink on that side with mirror. So you had like dual sinks, like his and her sinks on either side. It was just so much freaking space.
It was.
And same thing with the room. We talk so much about how much space do you have from the foot of the bed to the dresser and where like shelving, whatever, where the TV is going to be.
That was a lot of room.
And there was a ton.
And then
space.
they still lifted the bed, so now there's under the bed storage.
Yeah.
And then we actually, off our bedroom, had a balcony for 2 people as well.
Yeah.
Same size, same everything. I didn't go out on that balcony.
No,
at
we never
all.
did.
We never did.
And these 2 balconies side to side, from the main living room and then the one in the second bedroom, are maybe 4 to 5 feet. So let's just say one night, all 4 of us had wanted to sit out on the balconies.
Right.
We would have sat on ours. They would have sat in the living room one, and we still could have had a conversation.
Absolutely.
So the fact that they are smaller doesn't really matter. You're still going to be able to sit 4 people. You're just not sitting on the exact same balcony, pretty much.
Right.
So.
So then, going back to the beginning when you would, come in, and like I said, you'd go straight and kind of curve around to your left to the whole living area. Well, you curve around, to your right, you curve around to your left, and that is the master bedroom and bathroom. Again, king giant bed, a window, bathroom, and this, because of the Murphy bed, the bathroom has like 2 doors, one to their bedroom and then one to the outside. And it's basically almost like your like half bath situation of like, you have friends over and like, oh, I need to use the restroom, which one, and then they could go to that one. Because the way it was is you had the toilet and a sink, and then I think you had a sink and a tub
and shower.
And a shower.
Yeah, so stand-up shower and a
and
tub
a
all in this area.
Also large
Huge
walk-in closet. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, so much
storage.
space.
Storage
Yeah.
was amazing, and I loved it because when, usually like we don't unpack our suitcase.
No.
We just live out of it. But what we're always having to do is we get into a room. First of all, in a studio, for example, we get into a room. We're usually bringing snacks, drinks, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to sit all over top of the dresser or countertop, underneath the TV area. Then we're going to get out the little luggage rack thing that you unfold. That has to find a place to sit in the room. And things just get in the way. We always bring a full foldable portable hamper. So we have to set that up. I mean, this alone, like there was so much space. I took all my hats and I laid them on the one shelf. I took all our magic bands and I laid them nicely on the other shelf. I spread out your ears all over the countertop, and then there was nothing else we had to do there. You walk into the bathroom and into this walk-in closet. That was where we had the luggage cart and our luggage, and we would just go in there. That's where I put the hamper. That's where I put, when we unpacked the snacks and stuff in the kitchen, in the cooler, I just put everything in there. It was out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
And this is another one of those, the only thing I wish they would have changed about the layout on our side with that bathroom is I wish that there had been a barn door or something for the bathroom, because when I got up early the one morning and I had to go in and put my contacts and stuff in, I can't just flip on that light because it's open to the entire rest of the room.
Yeah.
A barn door, something would have been neat there. But like even getting dressed that morning, I just went into the closet.
Yeah.
And turned on the light and closed the door. And I had plenty of space with the luggage there, with all the extra stuff there, the hamper. And I went ahead and just picked my stuff out, got dressed, and headed on out, and you were never the wiser, I would say.
No.
So it was,
because at one point, I think
great.
I woke up one morning and looked, or I might have reached, and you weren't there. And I was like, oh, where is he?
So it was just, I absolutely love this layout. It was so spacious. It was so great.
We didn't talk about the washer and dryer.
No. Tell them about this washer and dryer.
It's right there by the master bathroom. And it's super cool because it's a bifold brown door, but it's got little cutouts of like leaves and just every touch is amazing. But it's a washer and dryer, you know, whatever those stacked kind of.
Yep.
Well, they're not stacked; they're kind of together.
Yeah, and they're not full. Yeah, and they're not like fully full size, but they're not like super tiny either.
Right.
And they're giving you everything as well. They're going to give you some detergent and fabric softener, stuff like that. There is soap to do dishes, but there's also a full dishwasher. There are sponges that they're providing, towels, for the kitchen, everything. And I loved it. Like Saturday night, Chuck and Amy went to meet some other friends for dinner, and Rhonda and I were just going to hang back. But our good friends, Jessica and Landon from Vacation Grocery Delivery, came over to do a little grocery photo shoot in the kitchen, so they could have their groceries and stuff in a full kitchen. And then they ended up hanging out, for a couple hours, and we all sat very comfortably in that living room.
Well, I thought it was funny today when Chuck and we were all talking, and you and him, I think, or more talking about it, but basically like I could totally, and even Amy chimed in, we could totally live here.
Oh yeah.
And she even said, like, she's like, I think this is bigger than my first apartment.
Yeah.
And it is. And then I really got to thinking about that, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Seriously,
if Disney started to rent these like apartments, just say,
right.
Let's just have a little fun right now. It would be plenty of space once, obviously just say the girls move out whenever from now, decade from now, or bless. And Disney was like, hey, we're renting these as apartments now.
Yeah.
And we went down there. I would remove one of the beds from the second bedroom
because
there's plenty of space to still have an office, because we would need an office.
Oh yeah.
But you would still have a guest sleeping area.
Yep.
And it's a small kitchen. It's not certainly anything like we have at home, but there was plenty of space for me to sit there and cook breakfast Saturday morning, and 100%. You were doing the live stream from the other side, and Amy was sitting at the kitchen table, and Chuck sitting on the couch doing some work stuff, and it's just, and if you weren't doing the math, there is king bed sleeps 2, Murphy bed sleeps 2, second bedroom has 2 queens, so that sleeps another 4, so this is fit for 8. And I was just dreaming of 2024 and Christmas, and doing one of these. And imagine waking up there on Christmas morning. The girls would each have their own queen bed. We'd have a king bed. I'd bring a full-size artificial Christmas tree and set it out in that living room this time. And you can, Amy and Chuck are DVC. They use their DVC points, but there are a lot of number of cash rooms in here. So you can either pay cash or you can rent DVC points. Both of those you can now do through Main Street Magic Travel. So you can do a free quote. And now that we've partnered with Total DVC, Chuck and Amy can do a comparison and say, here's what it would cost. And I'm not saying you're doing a 2-bedroom. Maybe you just want a studio. Here's what a studio would cost, cash rate. Here's some availability maybe for DVC and renting points and what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a comparison. But yeah, just nothing beats this. I'm super excited to stay in the main lodge in September on my birthday. We're doing one night there up at club level, which is going to be really cool. And that'll be a king bedroom, studio room. So it'll be neat to be back in the main lodge.
Yep.
But again, there's just something so feels like home about Boulder Ridge that I absolutely adore. We didn't dine but we have plenty of times in the past. You have a lot of dining options. Of course, one of our favorites is Geyser Point Bar and Grill, which is considered a quick service because there's a quick service next to it, but you actually would go in and sit down and you are waited on.
Yes.
So it's like that combo. It's kind of like, it's more Three Bridges than it is, an actual quick service.
Right.
And food there is excellent. We love the bison burger there. Shrimp on a wire is so good as an appetizer. They have some of the best wings on property. You can sit at the bar and see Josh, who is, I think, my new favorite bartender. He was
awesome.
outstanding. We actually went, Chuck and Amy and Rhonda and I went down and sat to have a drink or two at the bar before we're going to go back to dinner for Akershus. And Josh was there. And I remembered him from before. And he was just so cool. And we're kind of at the point that sometimes we're like, I don't know, man. What do you like? I like a bourbon. What do you think? What do you want to make me? Yeah. And he's like, I got you. Let me go make you something. And he made Amy something she loved, and then she got it again the next night. But even then, we knew we were having a meetup Friday night. This was on Thursday still, and we're like, Josh, you working tomorrow night? And he's like, yeah. I said, we're gonna have a decent group. Can we sit down at those, chairs? Because there's like some chairs all out right there on the water's edge. Outside of Geyser Point where somebody wouldn't wait on you. And he's like, yep, you just come up here, you start a tab with me, you can come up, get your drinks, take them down there, you can get food, you can mobile order food, whatever you want to do. And so he was super cool. You've got Roaring Fork, which is their quick service. And that's in the main lodge building. Basically, if you were going up the stairs from the main pool, as you enter on the right side, it's kind of like downstairs in a sense. And we'll be passing it a lot on my birthday, because that's where you head towards the elevators to go up to the club level area and section and all. So really good stuff there. They often have really cool desserts. They usually have this, I think it's like a s'mores cupcake that looks like a campfire. That's really good. We've gotten in the past. They have Storybook Dining at Artist Point with Snow White. That is their table service character dining. We absolutely loved it there.
Yes, we did.
Now, this has been pre-COVID, but I believe they're back to pretty much full menus and characters and everything. Evil Queen there is the best meet and greet you will find, I think.
So cool.
Love it there. They have Territory Lounge, which is a bar and lounge, doing a lot of its own small plates, charcuterie, things like that.
We were going to go last night, but we didn't.
We just didn't make it. And it's a good thing because it saved us a ton of money.
Yeah, it did.
But real good handcrafted cocktails. It's small. There's a lot of cool details and kind of hidden Disney items throughout all the artwork and the walls. And it's very like Lewis and Clark type of like exploring. That's what it feels like. Like, that's kind of the theming of it. You have Whispering Canyon Cafe, which is the table service in the main lobby. We loved it for Christmas. Yep. I want to go back and do lunch. It is everything from family style skillets to some a la carte items. It's very fun. It's very loud. Yep. The cast members mess with you. Yeah. You can ask for ketchup. Did you see the main guy in the hat, the 10-gallon hat, wearing it? I mean, this thing was 3 feet. Front to back and like 1.5 feet wide, giant hat.
I did not see that.
And then you have the Wilderness Lodge Mercantile, which is their little marketplace to pick up some quick things. And when you do have a full kitchen, let's just say you got there, you made the mistake of not using vacation grocery delivery. Yeah. You can still reach out to them last minute, even if you see nothing on their schedule. It is worth messaging them on Facebook Messenger and just ask. A lot of times they can accommodate. Or if you were like, you know what? I really just wanted to cook eggs and bacon one morning. That's all I need. I'm not going to do a full delivery service. They got you covered. Yep. So you can go down there. It's still going to probably cost more than if you paid for a delivery service through vacation grocery delivery.
Or probably more if you go to like get it from, wherever, Roaring Fork.
Yep. For sure. So talk about the main pool, which is the Copper Creek Springs pool. We did not make it to the pool this time. But
that's the one with the waterfall, right?
Yeah,
that's the one. I love this.
That's the main pool off the main lodge.
Yeah, so it has a little cute slide, of course. But what I love is there's a little what do you call
Babbling
it?
Brook.
Well,
maybe, I would say,
yeah, but in the lodge.
Oh, in the lodge it's a tiny.
What do you call?
It's not a geyser, but it is like a.
Like
it's
a
kind of
little-
like an always running geyser. It looks like a geyser, like a little mountain
bubbling.
with, bubbling
over
brook coming
and,
out.
Yep, and it goes down
Yeah.
all the
outside.
way.
So this is inside.
Yep.
And there's a cool little bridge that goes over it.
Yep.
You can walk.
Yep.
And if you want to talk, if you want a place to enjoy your coffee or a late night cocktail or just relax or waiting for check-in, either right there in front of that babbling brook or right there in front of the fireplace with the 6-story rock chimney area. Those two are just outstanding. So this thing starts inside.
Yes. And then it goes outside, down all the way, down a big waterfall, all the way down, and then you cross a bridge, and it's still going out into the pool.
Yeah. And what's amazing, and this is just that, those touches, what's flowing from inside the lobby is not what's flowing into the pool.
Yeah.
That's why they've built this bridge, because it is basically a point where that water drains off and recycles back up to the lobby, and a new water starts coming out, which then goes down to the pool and then is recycled back up. So
you weren't supposed to say that.
But we've sat there nights before after dark, you and I, and just with our arms on that ledge and the water's kind of falling down, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, it's neat.
And their kids' play area is outstanding. We have, when the girls were much younger, I remember same thing, sitting out there at nighttime, and they just played forever.
Yep.
Nice hot tub out there.
Yep.
Salon services.
The geyser's out there too that goes off.
I can't remember exactly when it goes off. It's like every 30 or every hour on the hour.
Is it?
But it will go off, and you can actually watch the geyser shoot. And then you walk from there. If you walk down past the salon on your left, Geyser Point on your left, just off to the right is the Boulder Ridge Cove Pool, which is kind of like the, obviously, Boulder Ridge Pool. But you can have access to it no matter which lodge and area you're staying in.
Oh, right. And it's more of like just an adult quiet pool, I would call it.
There are some kind of like cabanas in a sense, but they're not the kind you rent. It's just a first come, first serve, a little bit more of a covered style area. And there's this huge oil rig crane, which is actually the same one from the Backlot tour that used to be over at Hollywood Studios. So they repurposed that, and they actually put it over by this pool. So even that right there is like super cool to go see. Same as all the resorts, but sometimes there are a little bit more to do at the deluxe resorts and the deluxe villas. They're going to have lots of poolside activities. They're going to have movie under the stars every night. They're going to do things on certain days like tie-dye. There are a lot of wilderness activities that you could do that are paid extra. But I completely forgot last night. We should have walked down to see The Greatest Showman. I totally forgot, because we ended up just sitting in the room talking to Jessica and Landon. We just had a blast.
Yeah.
And kind of just lost track of the time.
Because where do they play it, though? Because it was storming.
They play it, well, that's right. It was raining earlier. So they play it down on, so right behind and next to, really attached to Geyser Point is the is kind of like the DVC, but I'm pretty sure anybody can use it, recreational area.
And there's so much stuff.
There's
pool
big
tables,
giant checkers. There's cornhole out there. There's a pool table. There's ping pong.
Yep.
And you can go into the activity center. They'll give you the pool balls and the cues. They'll give you, paddles and ping pong balls and all to play. And we've done that before. I mean, Wilderness Lodge in general, Boulder Ridge, all that it's a staycation.
Yes.
I mean, if you're not, it's one of those, if you don't, and we don't feel the pressure. Again, we're very lucky we get to go so often being annual pass holders, living only 2 hours away. So we don't always feel the pressure to go to the parks. And sometimes you just want to enjoy the resort. We didn't get to a lot because we did feel pressure to go to the parks because we wanted to do some food and wine stuff. And then we went to the Flavors of Florida thing at Disney Springs and, Animal Kingdom because we wanted to check out Yak and Yeti again. And so this is definitely one of those spots where you want to allot time to enjoy the resort, especially when you're spending that type of money. When we go for my birthday, we're only going the one night, but I'm going to be that morning, like 6 a.m. Like, wake up, Rhonda. It's my birthday. They're going. We're going to drop those kids off at school, maybe even a little bit early, and we're getting down there. We're going straight to the lodge. Hopefully we'll get there in time to do breakfast in the club. And then we're planning to go just hang out by the pool, go back up for afternoon snacks, maybe go back to the pool, or maybe we go play some ping pong or some pool or something fun like that. Go back up for the dinner and evening cocktails. Then, hang out, enjoy the resort, get up the next morning, do breakfast again before we head over to Universal Studios for the Halloween Horror Nights big gathering. It's just, I do think it's one of those places where, now having a larger room, of course, sometimes you have to be in a deluxe if you have a large family.
Right.
But I don't think that there is a point in spending $400 and $500 a night at a resort that you're never going to be at.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, if you're just going to do parks, sun up to sundown every day, that's great, and do it and have a blast. But go stay at a value for half or a third of the cost, and use that extra savings for meals or booking a tour,
meals or something.
Yeah, booking a tour or something like that. But if you're even going to have one day off, this is a great place to have it.
Yep,
and
100%.
Enjoy. All right, we are going to move on to food and wine. Now, we visited twice while we were there. We went Thursday, and we went back Saturday for a little bit. We're going to just cover all of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're really going to talk about the food. If you go back a couple episodes ago, we did a preview.
Yep.
And we did run through the menus, and we talked about what we were looking forward to, things that we liked. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of run back through the menu, in case you missed that one. For booths that we didn't try this time, and there is so much, and I'll be honest, there was so much, we had a lot going on this weekend that we didn't do as much as I would have liked. But I don't regret it because of all the other things we did, like Akershus and Yak and Yeti and Cape May Cafe and hanging with friends. You know what I mean?
But also, we did do some new stuff.
We did.
And we just are...
We did a good handful.
Full.
Everything we did was new.
Yeah.
That was one of our goals. There was only one repeat item that we tried that Chuck picked up on Saturday that we'll still talk about. But what we're going to do is we're going to run through some of these menus real quick again. We're just going to tell you what our favorite thing is. And most of that is coming from the past, and then we'll talk about the new items we did try. And first, we'll start with the Alps. We have said in the past, we absolutely love the warm raclette Swiss cheese. Mm-hmm. They have one without ham, and they have one with ham. Also comes with baby potatoes, those disgusting little cornichones, and a baguette. Get it with the ham.
Yep.
And get this.
Yes, it's very good.
This is one of my favorites.
Unfortunately, the dark chocolate fondue was new, and we were headed to go get that.
Yeah, we were.
And I don't know what happened.
Well, we were on our way. And then we stopped. We met up with Jim and Connie, and we were with Chuck and Amy.
Okay.
And we were going to go head there, but we were all kind of like, they had dinner that night. And we're like, they were heading back. And you and I were just like, all right, we're kind of already full from the day. Let's just go ahead and let's head back too. And then I already knew Jessica and Landon wanted to come to do these, and they didn't get a chance Thursday night to do these photos. So I was like, we can hook up with them, and then you and I can just relax tonight. Maybe we end up at Territory Lounge. Maybe we do whatever. We'll just relax. And so we went ahead and headed back is the only reason we missed it. But here's the great thing about us. We'll be back.
Uh-huh.
Won't we?
Yeah.
And to be honest.
Technically next weekend.
Yeah, this weekend coming up.
We might hop over there.
Yeah, I'm thinking we've got Epcot for Thursday, and I believe we have it for Saturday, because I figured if I can get a Cosmic Rewind, which I can, I was 3 for 3.
And we
only rode once.
Yeah,
that's how our weekend went. All in good ways. That's in no way a negative. It was almost great that we didn't ride it the first 2 days, because we were just having fun and doing other things, but we also didn't feel the pressure to.
Yep.
So yeah, my thought was, all right, we head down Thursday. Our Cosmic Rewind gets called. We get to the campground. We're all settled in. Camper Rent Adventures takes care of everything.
Yeah,
they set it up. Everything.
Drive up and
like showing up to a hotel room. So we'll go ahead and get settled in, and then depending on what the kids are doing, if our Cosmic Rewind's been called, Rhonda and I might just drive over to Epcot and ride it and come back. But maybe we go over and we go, all right, here's 2 more items we're going to make sure we try while we're here.
Right.
And then maybe do the same thing on Saturday.
The fondue would probably be good.
Yeah, it would be very, very good. All right, we're going to move on to Australia. Even though I have given it crap in the past, the roasted lamb chop and mint pesto with potato crunchies for $8.75 ever since has always been quite delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I got to look at somebody's as they were walking away, and it looked good. It looked like size portion and all, and the thickness of the cut. Belgium. What's your favorite thing to get at Belgium? We don't visit this one very often, do we?
Well, usually your waffle.
Yeah.
But I think we did the beer braised beefs with the smoked Gouda mashed potatoes, and that was fantastic.
Yeah. It's only $6. This is one of those good heartier portions. This is one you want to share if you're planning on eating a lot.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to Brazil.
Cheese bread.
Yeah, they have the cheese bread. But I got to be honest, if you've had the cheese bread at Skipper Canteen with that like little chimichurri sauce and the cream cheese, you don't want this one.
Or you want some pesto, because remember they have I said we need to go because they have a black bean and pork belly Brazil nut pesto and Benson.
And ask if they'll do some of that pesto on the side. try and remember that for next time, because I know you mentioned it before, and I just completely forget things like that. So maybe you can. Okay, we are going to move on to something we did try.
Woohoo!
We're going to brew wing. Now, in the past, we've done the peanut butter and jelly sticky wings, we've done the garlic parmesan wings, and we've done the buffalo Brussels sprouts.
Yes.
They're outstanding.
Yes. And this is where we ended up meeting up with Chuck and Amy, Chuck and Allie and Alex.
Funny thing, we're walking in.
And Steve was
Yeah,
there.
Steve and his daughter Faith, who we met before. We actually saw them last weekend for your birthday and all. Steve, our wonderful friend and cast member, one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet, works over at Roundup Rodeo.
Yep.
And I knew he was supposed to be there because we're all friends and family and my Disney experience. And I had to take him out of the Cosmic Rewind queue that morning.
We didn't want to mess anybody up.
Because here's what happens. Let's just say I see that Steve's on our thing and I go, oh, well, I'll get one for Steve too. He'll be so happy. Well, that takes him out, and that means he can't get his daughter one.
Right.
So, yeah, luckily I took him out. Amy's was like, you probably should. And I was like, great. But yeah, we're getting ready to walk in through security, and who walks up right next to us completely unplanned is Steve and Faith.
Yeah.
So we did hang out with them a little bit, but go ahead. Sorry. Talk about.
Well, I was just going to say, this is where the main reason we were all meeting here, for one, is because they had the pickle milkshake that's brand new for $5.75. And Amy wanted to try it. And so with that being said, we did get the frozen fusion. Allie got that one. We got the pickle milkshake. Jeremy got the unnecessarily spicy wings, and Allie got the garlic parmesan wings.
No, she got the orange cardamom wings, which were new. So two new wing items, which are the unnecessarily spicy yet extremely tasty Scotch bonnet pepper curry wings with cucumber yogurt. $7.50. Believe there's about 5 or 6 wings. And then the orange cardamom wings are $7.50 as well. I'll start with those. I don't know if we're ending on a positive anywhere here, but we'll talk pickle milkshake last. You know, it was the same with don't do wings. Is my opinion here. If you're going to be a place called Brew Wing, you should really just nail the wings. You should knock them out of the park, and they just don't. They're small. It's
sad because everybody pretty much agreed.
Yeah, they never seem to taste freshly sauced. Now, opening day, everywhere else wasn't horrible. This place was a nightmare. It was a mess inside the Odyssey. I mean, you said you felt bad for the cast members, like.
Well, it was sad because when it was me, Amy, and Allie, us girls went to go pay and buy all the stuff, and when we did, there's like 2 lines. And I think the kitchen were getting the numbers crisscrossed. So like way over on the other side. And not way, but on the other side.
Okay, so booth, basically kiosk 1 and 2 in a sense.
Like
kiosk 2 was getting kiosk 1 food and calling people's names out or whatever.
Well, they were calling numbers. And then, I mean, everybody's in there talking, so it's not like, I mean, me, Amy, and Allie were talking together, so it's harder to hear. So then we were getting up closer, and I felt bad, and I started to want to be, like, yelling numbers, like, 235, and whatever, but I was like, I don't know, like, I don't want to embarrass anybody. Amy said once, and she was, like, using her teacher voice, and then finally Allie and I realized that like they were over there. We're like, we're 233 and 234.
I don't think you told me that part.
So anyways, it was just I felt bad for them.
They just I mean,
it was crazy busy.
And I don't think like saying I didn't care for the wings has nothing to do with it being busy. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah.
And it could, but like the extremely spicy. They weren't extremely spicy. They had a good enough heat, but they weren't what was described, which is fine. I didn't need it extremely spicy.
Well, it was for Allie.
Yeah.
And it was for Alex.
I like spicy stuff, and I think I have a much higher tolerance for spicy food. But it just, like, we didn't finish them. Right. I didn't even want to finish them. I just didn't think they were very good. And then the orange cardamom wings, my problem with all their wings is they just don't deliver on the flavor. It's very subtle. Like, I remember the peanut butter and jelly wings. they didn't deliver the peanut butter and jelly you
Right.
wanted. We actually
So
ended
you
up making
tasted
them.
the orange ones?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
I tasted one of those. Yeah, we ended up making the peanut butter and jelly wings last
Oh, I
year for an
remember.
Anyone Can Cook,
Yeah.
and they were great.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just not doing a great job here, I don't think. Now, what they have new this year that I really want to try, and I heard good things about, is the Impossible Buffalo Chicken Tenders with plant-based blue cheese, plant-based ranch, and celery for $7.50. I did hear some good things about those through social media. And then, like I said before, the Buffalo Brussels sprouts with the plant-based blue cheese and plant-based ranch for $7.50 were outstanding last year.
Yes,
We
they
really
were.
loved those.
Yes.
Talk about the frozen fusion, and then we can end this booth with your pickle milkshake.
Okay, because I don't think it's a bad either one of them.
Yeah.
Because the frozen fusion
That was
very
delicious.
good.
Yeah.
It is Twinings pomegranate and raspberry herbal tea fused with orange ice cream molecules for $4.75. And
It
basically,
is non-alcoholic.
it is. And basically, Allie said that it's almost kind of like your Dippin' Dots. On top.
Yeah.
And it was so good, refreshing,
Yeah, I
nice.
like this a lot.
This was really, really good. Everybody loved this. So then we had the pickle milkshake. So it is green. It does have some whipped cream on top and a little bit of dill. It
looks like it is not meant for human consumption. The color.
I mean, it does. It's fine.
It was interesting to look at.
Yeah. Well, so I took the first sip and I felt like pickle kind of hit me, and it was different and it was interesting. But then like Amy tasted it and everybody else tasted it. Amy loved it. And she said it really, and they kind of really hit it where it was more of a dill.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a milk. It was like
She said it was like a vanilla milkshake,
milkshake.
that then you got an aftertaste of like dill.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I did not try it, obviously.
Of course not.
But I can tell you whether this thing is good, whether it's disgusting, no matter what it is, every other person was ordering one.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Disney did exactly what they set out to do.
Oh, 100%.
And they've created a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
It's genius on their end to put this together,
Yeah.
I think, from somebody who loathes pickles. I applaud them. Bravo, culinary team for Food and Wine Festival. Bubbles and Brine doesn't open till September, but we'll make sure to go back and check that out. And then Canada, of course, I'm sorry, I'm not getting it when it's 110 degrees outside.
I will look forward to getting it though.
Yes, like
at
in
some point.
November or something. The Canadian cheddar and bacon soup with a pretzel roll, amazing. The Canadian filet mignon served with mushrooms, boursin, black truffle, and sea salt mashed potatoes, and a whipped butter for $9.75. It's your taste of Le
Amazing.
Cellier.
It's
You get
amazing.
both of these when you go.
Oh, 100%.
And it's just like sitting at Le Cellier.
Yep. So good.
So Char and Chop opens in September. We will be back to check that out. Over in China, I am sad we did not try this one, but I'll be honest, we went by this booth and it was 100 deep. And
Yeah,
it was
it
just
was a
like,
lot.
all right, let's get on to Mexico. Let's get on to something that maybe isn't so backed up. But next time I want to make sure I get the crispy duck bao bun with the hoisin sauce.
Yep.
All right. Coastal Eats. Why don't you talk about our favorite dish there from last year? And we didn't
Oh, the
get it this
Oysters
year, but
Rockefeller. Yeah, it was funny because we passed by and I didn't know it was open already. So the Oysters Rockefeller, you get 3 of them. They were fantastic last year. We will get them again. Probably just we were trying to eat the other food. They also have a lump crab cake with the aioli and vinegar slaw.
Yeah, and get the oysters here and pair them with their Cape Codder, which is the Boyd and Blair vodka with cranberry, pomegranate, and lime for $12. It's really, really good and
that was
refreshing.
good.
Flavors of America, 3 new savory items. They still have the dessert of baked carrot cake with cream cheese icing, which I have loved in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So with these booths that, for example, have multiple new menu items, we're only getting 1 at this time, and we will circle back, of course, on other trips. Which one did we go for?
Didn't we get 2? Didn't we go and...
No.
Okay.
Which one did we get?
We did get the Italian hot beef sandwich with shaved beef, spicy...
The giardiniera. I can never say it right.
And an au jus on a French roll for $6.75. This was first of all, super cute.
It is the
Like,
most
it was-
adorable little sandwich I've ever seen
It
in my
was
life.
adorable. That au jus was so good that I drank some of it.
You literally did.
Drank some of it. It was so good.
This
So
sandwich
good.
this is outstanding. This was probably my second favorite thing that we had this year. And we'll cover the the first favorite thing I think here soon. But the roll, even if you didn't dip it, was so soft. The beef was thin sliced and tender. You got a nice kick from that giardiniera, however you pronounce it, on top. But when you dipped it, it just was a whole other level in that au jus. I love this. You know, I miss the lobster roll, but to me, this is like the lobster roll where every time we go, I can almost see me stopping and getting it.
100%.
Regardless. Be like, we've had it 7 times this year. Okay, well, I'm getting it in 8. That's how much I loved it. And it's, especially now that we love Portillo's, that they opened the Portillo's down there. We just ate there last Sunday on the way back. And this is very much the same, but different. This bread is very different, but the meat in the au jus is very similar to Portillo's.
Nice.
So it's a nice little taste of Portillo's in the park. Flavors from Fire. This year, we went and got the brand new, I was excited about this, chimichurri marinated skirt steak taco with crushed avocado, grilled corn salsa, pickled red onions, queso fresco, and a cilantro lime cream. Again, this is new. This is $6.50. This is one taco. What did you think?
It was good. It was just a lot of creaminess.
Yeah, I really loved it. It was
You
it was in my top 5 dishes that we had over the course of the weekend, I think. But you're right, it had a lot going on. I think they maybe could have scaled some things back, because the one thing that almost went slightly missing was the skirt steak.
Yep.
Because there was so much else going on.
There was.
But super good tortilla. It's bigger, a little bit bigger than the tacos in Mexico. So it still is a fairly shareable item. But I would recommend it. I would recommend going and getting it.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of folks that were ordering this, like just meat and tortilla. There were some people doing that. And I don't know that I had heard this before at the festivals. Maybe I have, but it was interesting because the cast member would say, is it an allergy or is it just a preference? Because if it's an allergy, they have to be very, very careful. There's cross-contamination. If it's just the fact that you don't like lime
They
crema,
did that to me whenever.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked for the cornichones because.
Oh, okay. And they said, is it an allergy or a preference?
Yeah, because you're weird.
And
I'm like, it's an allergy.
What did Chuck get that we did have last year? But we'll go ahead and talk about it again.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It's the smoked corned beef with house-made potato chips, cheese curd, pickle onions, and beer cheese fondue. And this is part of a meals fromage montage. So we got the sticker or stamp for us. And you have the book, right?
Yes, I
we
do.
need to take
I have it. I know we got to take that one back. $6.50.
Yep.
It
was good. It was good. This, I felt like, and I don't know if we're moving on. We're not moving on to the next one because at this, the one that we got, so Jeremy, so we divided and conquered with Amy and me and with Chuck and Jeremy, and they went to Flavors of Fire, and then we were at the Fry Basket. So, it was salty, like the
very,
beer
very
cheese.
salty.
And it wasn't until like, I think Chuck maybe ate a few bites and then he realized it was. So then I tried to take another bite and I was like, oh, okay, it kind of is. It was really good though.
I do enjoy it. Nice crispy chips. The corned beef is shredded and super tender. Now, if you were coming to Flavors of Fire and you're saying, I'm only going to get one dish there, I would actually probably pick from the past that we've had the Impossible Burger Slider with the wasabi cream and the Asian slaw on a sesame seed bun, which is plant-based for $6. That would probably be my number one go-to, followed by the taco. But this smoked corned beef, I think, is good. It's basically, I mean, it's like American grilled poutine.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it. You
Kinda,
know, it doesn't have the curds, but it had that cheese fondue.
Yep.
Let's move on to France. I miss their old escargot.
Yeah.
First time I ever had it at my buddy David's bachelor party. First time I had escargot. And that's when they had the little bread and butter little, I don't know, roll things that they hollowed out, and they put the escargot in there, and then they smothered it in melted butter and herbs, and it was outstanding. They've moved to this croissant escargot that literally is like a Pillsbury croissant with a little bit of escargot rolled up in it, garlic, parsley for $7.50. If you want to try escargot or you enjoy it, just go into Chef de France.
Well, this is where you had me taste it, and I was like, I'm not going to. And it really wasn't that bad.
No.
So I'd say if you really want to try it, I would go this way.
Maybe it'd be dipping your toe in escargot.
Yeah.
Look at that. That rhymed and everything.
But
I will say, walking past this booth
it smells
and
amazing.
smelling it,
yeah.
you just want to be like, I want to eat whatever that is.
Well, and they also have a warm beignet filled with 3 cheese blend, which is
good.
so good. And then they have braised short ribs and Cabernet and puffed potatoes, which is so good too.
Very, very good here as well.
And then of course they have the creme brulee, which is, again, I mean, this
Always
whole
good.
booth is always good.
It really does. France delivers.
Yep. And then of course they had the slushy that we did get one because we were starting out here. And it is a cosmopolitan slushy, basically. It's really good. It says your Parisian Cosmo slush. You got your Grey Goose vodka, the Le Citron vodka, and Grand Marnier and cranberry juice. And I really liked it.
It was delicious. Super refreshing.
But yeah, so instead of getting one each, we shared it literally because of money and because, we were wanting to not be sick and
first things first, we went there and we bought a gift card that we're going to use for the whole weekend. Basically, we bought a wristlet, but we were trying to be thinking, okay, we bought a $400 gift card and we're thinking, all right, we have Akershus tonight. We got Yak and Yeti tomorrow, but we had some Landry's rewards and another gift card. We'll talk about when we get to that point in the next episode. And then, we just knew like we're going to need money for the rest of the weekend. So let's be mindful of our spending at Food and Wine. Yep. Why buy two $15 drinks when this really is about a research reason, not a getting silly reason or anything. So we decided not to. All right, let's move on to the fry basket where you and Amy had split off and we divided and conquered. Yes. What all is here?
So they have your yuca fries with garlic cilantro aioli, which is plant-based for $5.50. Amy got that. They have a fry flight, which is sea salt and malt vinegar fries. They have a bacon barbecue fry with smoked aioli. And then they have a sweet potato casserole fry with candied pecans, toasted marshmallow cream, and maple bourbon glaze. Now, you can also get just one.
I didn't know that until she came back with it.
Yeah.
You guys I thought you could only get the flight.
Honestly, I don't think I did either, but she did. So she got the bacon fries one for Chuck, and it tasted just like a barbecue.
Yeah, it tasted
chip.
like barbecue
cool.
dust from, the seasoning they put on barbecue chips, but then it had some sprinkled bacon in it. So
good.
they were good.
Yep.
I enjoyed those.
The yuca fries, of course, they're always good.
They're very salty,
were salty.
But it's a salt that really lends to it being delicious.
Well, and it's funny because this is where we had that and then we had Flavors of Fire and it just seemed like, everything was a lot salty.
I'm coming around to things like aiolis, which is fancy mayonnaise. I didn't love this one, I think, because there was a lot of it.
Yeah.
On like the bite that I had, it was almost too much. I could see going back and easily getting this and asking for it with no aioli or aioli on the side so I could add my own.
Right.
These yuca fries are so good. And they're kind of like breaded and fried.
Yeah, they're
a little
really
bit.
good.
Oh, I love these.
Very good.
Let's get on to the next disgusting thing you had to get.
They also have their pickle fries with a dill ranch, and this is new. So super funny. I did not know that Roundup Rodeo's
fried pickles.
They changed them to chips, fried pickled chips. They used to be spears just like this.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really liked them. I think there was a thicker fry around the pickle.
Yeah. It seemed like a very thick fry, like a heavy breading.
Heavy breading, that's the right way to say it. So I would have liked it to have been a little less heavy breaded, but it was still, I really liked it. I ate quite a bit, but then I'm like, we got to go eat more.
I know.
So I didn't eat all of them, not because I didn't like them, because I'm like, all right.
Yeah, we still got other stuff to conquer.
We also did get the salty dog, which I think we've had before, but it's just so good and refreshing. It's your vodka, grape juice, ginger, simple syrup, lime, and a salted rim for $12.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Really good.
And to be honest, at this point, outside of the salted rim, but you kind of, get past that once you have a little bit.
So much salt and everything.
But it ended up being a good balance once you got past that initial salt on the rim of all the salty flavors.
Yeah.
Like you needed something to kind of wash it down. If you move on to Germany, they have a pasta gratin with ham, onions, and cheese for $5. That's very, very good. I like their bratwurst on a pretzel roll. I get it without the mustard. It's just weird, the ratio of lengthy brat to stubby pretzel, I think. But the flavors are good.
Yeah.
And I like those. All right. Over in Greece, we did have on the first day, Rhonda and I got the plant-based Impossible Moussaka. which is new this year for $5.50.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what moussaka was. It usually is an eggplant-based dish with like a creamy top on it, like a little casserole. Sometimes it will include meat. Sometimes it is not. This is including impossible meat instead. To me, it tasted most similar to a shepherd's pie.
It was good.
It was so good.
All of it.
I loved this thing. Little bits of eggplant in
Yep.
there. It had the impossible meat. Like the eggplant was cooked through, but it still had a little bit of like bite to it. You know what I mean? Like eggplant, I feel like sometimes people just overcook and it turns to mush.
Yeah.
This was perfect where, if you bit it, you would see your teeth marks. Like, so I absolutely loved this.
Yeah, it was really, really
Then
good.
what did we get when we went back that actually we were able to taste? Because this is what Chuck and Amy did.
Yeah. So, actually, Jim and Connie came too. So we were all starting to walk around. And Amy got the grilled cheese with pistachio and honey, which is the Mills fromage montage. And then both boys got the lamb gyro and shaved lettuce, tomatoes, red onion, and tzatziki on a warm flatbread. And it is talk about like the American little one is so cute. This is so cute too because it's wrapped in a
and you're like
tinfoil
wrapper, your food safe wrapper.
I mean, it literally looks like a miniature. It looks like it went to Pim's.
It does. Test kitchen. That's right. Same with the Italian beef sandwich. It looks like something would come out of Pim's test kitchen.
Yeah, because it was large and they just shrunk it down.
Yep.
Super cute.
Love it.
And of course the boys loved it. It was great.
Now, last year, we did not like the griddled cheese with pistachios and honey.
Oh, yeah.
I think we had like a bad piece last year.
I didn't taste
This year,
because
I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't taste it because I wanted them to eat it and Amy was excited. And plus, she's gluten-free. So there's some things that she cannot eat, like the lamb gyro. She could not.
Right.
So I was fine. I wanted you to taste it for this purpose right here.
I really, really enjoyed it.
So,
it was, I love the sweetness of that honey, the saltiness of the pistachio, and then the cheese has this great crust on the top, like burnt cheese, but then the rest of the cheese is super kind of like gooey. It's so good. Hawaii's not opening till August 15th, which is weird. All the other new booths are opening September 22nd. This one's opening like 2 weeks after. I don't know. Well, it started. But get the Kahlua pork slider when you go there. It's outstanding.
They don't have anything new, but everything
they do
is
not.
Good.
India, have a couple good things there. One of them really good is always their chicken tikka masala with a spinal spiced yogurt and naan bread that's only $6.25. Give you a really good flavor of India. Ireland. Now, Steve and Faith did stop. They got the roasted Irish sausage with the potatoes and onion gravy because he's had it in the past, really enjoys it. That's their bangers and mash.
Yep.
We have had, I remember I think I mentioned in the last review or preview episode that I don't think we'd ever actually stopped and gotten food from Ireland for Food and Wine, but I do remember we've done the fisherman's seafood pie in the past for $7.
Yeah.
And it's a seafood pot pie. It's fine. I've never been really blown away by anything at the Ireland booth.
I need to get that Guinness Bailey's coffee shake.
Yes, that sounds super good. Maybe do that next time. All right, let's go on to Italy. They're throwing a whole bunch of new stuff at you. We got one of them.
We did.
What did we get?
I really liked it. It is your focaccia ripani. I don't know how to say that. Freshly baked focaccia, meatballs, tomato sauce, and burrata cheese. Jeremy will tell you
$9.
Yeah, sorry. Jeremy will tell you that it was not burrata, but it was not ricotta.
It was like something it was much more ricotta-like.
Yeah.
Though.
It was so here's what I think the sad part is. I think the flavors and everything was great. I really liked it. But the burrata, the focaccia was not as crispy. Like I don't know what they could have done differently.
Toasted it, I think.
Well, yeah, it was all soft. Like the focaccia needed to be crispy.
I think if they had toasted this and then rubbed some like garlic butter on it,
but I think
then put the meatballs, then put the sauce.
I think it was supposed to, but I think
maybe.
I don't know if it just kind of got soft because the meatballs were sitting on there.
Maybe.
Like
yeah.
But
it
was good.
They're frozen meatballs.
I liked it.
I think
There's
preheated
3.
frozen meatballs, canned tomato sauce, and then whatever this burrata ricotta, it was nada. For me personally, and you love like ricotta, you just eat it by the spoonful. For me, it was too much. It was not well balanced with the other ingredients in the dish. I didn't hate this, but I didn't love it, I guess.
Right.
And I do think honestly, if there had been less of the cheese and they had toasted that focaccia, I think it would have been a heck of a lot better for me. All right, so next we're going to move on to Japan. We actually did do 2 new items here.
Yay!
So I know we said we weren't, but we did them on 2 separate days. We love the teriyaki chicken bun. Highly recommend that year after year.
Yep.
So the first day on Thursday, we did the beef wagyu dan, which is traditional Japanese rice bowl with American wagyu beef over steamed white rice for $9.75.
Yep.
Talk about it, Rhonda.
It was good. To me, it didn't taste like beef wagyu. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean it's ground beef.
Yeah.
I don't think you're grinding up wagyu beef.
Yeah. And especially not for $9.75. I feel like, it was good. There was just a lot of rice. I think, and it could have had a little more sauce or something with it.
Yeah, I wish it had a little bit of drizzle of like almost a teriyaki or something on top, because not that the beef was dry, but it just needed more moisture to it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if you're, it comes in this little bowl. It's a decent enough portion. It's certainly shareable. The whole bottom is rice, and then it's covered with a small layer of the ground wagyu beef. But I would say the ratio is like 70% rice to 30% meat. So I think that's just what it was missing.
Right.
Now, what wasn't missing, which I think was my festival favorite from this weekend, was the fire taco roll, which is sushi roll with spicy tuna, cucumber, and pickled daikon radish, served with spicy sauce for $8.
Yes.
You got 3 little rolls.
Yep.
This was sushi perfection to me.
This was great. Very good. We all liked it. We got 2 of them because there was 6 of us total. So we each got 1 roll, and it was absolutely great.
So hearty, flavorful.
So I would say save your $9.75.
Yeah.
And either get 1, depending on how many people you have, or 2 of these rolls.
Yeah.
Because they were really good.
Yeah. And then that Thursday, I got the sake passion cocktail, which is new this year, for $8.75. I really enjoyed it.
Did you like that?
Yeah,
That's right. I tasted it.
Yeah, it was sweet. It tasted much more like just a passion fruit drink. Like you didn't really get any kind of flavors, I feel like, of the sake. And I like sake. Now, on Saturday, Amy got the Moon on the Water sake, which is new. Comes this cute $15.
$15.
$15. It comes in this cute little cup, but it's probably... I wouldn't even know if it's
Is it like 2 ounces?
It's maybe an ounce. I bet maybe an ounce.
It is so little.
It was little.
For $15.
Yeah. It was good. It wasn't $15 good.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
I don't
would
think
not
it was
get this.
good.
Oh, really? Well, but you don't really like sake that much, do you?
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
I do.
But you liked it? Nobody
did.
else liked it.
Oh, I finished it because nobody else liked it. Now I know why they let me finish it. I thought they were just nice.
Wow.
No, I liked it, but it's not worth $15.
No, don't.
For this size or anything. And it doesn't even come in a cute little wooden square bowl that they write your name on.
Right.
Or Jerry's name on.
Right.
You never know. All right, let's move on to Kenya. We did not eat here, but I love their piri-piri skewered shrimp with citrus-flavored couscous. Mexico, coming in hot every year with all new items. I love this about them. Which one did we go ahead and opt for during this trip? And we will go back and try the other 2, that's for sure. The taco.
I'm like, which one was it?
Yeah,
oh,
the
yeah,
taco.
the taco. The taco de costilla. It's slow braised beef short rib on a corn tortilla with salsa de chile morita, avocado mousse, and spring onions for $8. This was a nice size.
Yeah, this actually
because
was
you
pretty
and
good.
I shared it, and it was. I took a good, nice bite and a half, I think maybe, and then I let you finish because I know you love it.
Yeah,
and
I
was starting to get full at this point.
Overall, I liked the chimichurri taco at Flavors of Fire better, but overall, this one was more balanced in flavors. Like the ratios were much better, and that braised short rib was outstanding. Super tender, super flavorful. Everything worked with this dish. This, honestly, this might beat out the chimichurri taco, but my top 3 were that roll from Japan, and then these 2 tacos were probably in my top 3 of everything, and put that beef sandwich 4th. Noodle Exchange also opens on August 15th.
You also got a margarita.
Oh, I sure did. I got the Trouble in Paradise margarita, which is mezcal, watermelon liqueur, rosé wine, lime juice, and agave with a chili lime powder rim for $12.50.
It wasn't bad.
It was
one
probably
of those...
the best of their crazy margaritas each year, because we usually get them and don't like them, and we keep getting them and not liking them. So this was the best one. You really got those hints of watermelon.
Yeah.
So it was very refreshing.
Yes.
So
very good.
I would actually, this is one of the few I'd probably get again.
Yeah.
I think. Noodle Exchange opens August 15th. Most everything here is good.
Oh, yeah.
And I look forward to this being one that we go on a cool evening in
Yes.
October or sometime in November.
Absolutely.
To go back because they're all very obviously hot dishes. You've got your refreshment outpost. There's nothing really great at these, and then the refreshment port that does have the braised beef poutine. It's a little bit more of a more traditional, I feel like, poutine there, and then they have the actual straight up traditional poutine, which is the one I would probably go for. Shimmering Sips is hosted by Corksicle. I believe last year we did the strawberry cheesecake soft serve with the mini cheesecake and graham cracker crumbs. Maybe. I actually don't know if we've hit up Shimmering Sips, but we didn't hit it up this year because you're really going here for their mimosas or their mimosa flight.
Right.
That's the main thing here. We did not stop at Spain, but they have a charcuterie that is served in a plastic cup that is just a bunch of chunks of meat and cheeses and Spanish olives, and it's got like a little bit of almost a vinaigrette dressing on it. It's good. Now, in the past, they were serving it in like a paper cone, so it just looked better. These were in plastic cups, so maybe those cones didn't come in.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
know. Swirled Showcase, which is going to be all kinds of soft serve and nitro cakes and stuff, is opening on September 22nd. Tangerine Cafe, flavor of the Medina. We really love the lamb kebab here, and even Lacey absolutely loved it.
Yep.
And you can get either lamb or chicken.
Yep.
They also have a good pistachio cake there.
Yes.
And the stone-baked Moroccan bread with hummus, churmura, and zoug dips for $5. We absolutely loved it last year.
Yes.
And you're watching them literally stone-bake this Moroccan bread right in front of your face.
Really cool. Really
and it comes out warm. Wine and Wedge is opening on September 22nd. This has some cool, like, kind of charcuterie style cheese and accompaniments. They've got a souffle that sounds pretty interesting, a fig souffle. I don't know. So that was our weekend of food and wine. And what we're going to go back, we're going to do more based on what we had, based on the new offerings. What did you think overall of food and wine this year?
Well, there's so many stuff that I already like, so that's good. And yeah, the new things were kind of, they were good. I didn't hate them. So yeah,
we enjoyed most everything.
Yeah.
And again, if I go back to the focaccia from Italy, it would make bottom of the list of things that we tried. But again, it wasn't awful.
Right.
And another thing that I was really impressed with is a lot of times these opening days can be a little bumpy. The only bumps appeared to happen at the Odyssey with Brew Wing. Other than that, actually, I'd put the wings lower than I would the focaccia. Now that I'm thinking about it, they were probably the worst of them. Something I wouldn't get again. But yeah, they really seemed like they had everything handled. Most of the dishes were moving very quick. There didn't seem to be a lot of hiccups. Everything, for the most part, seemed it was coming out as presented. Where, in the past, you go opening day, you get that lamb chop. It's just not what you were hoping for. You go back 2 weeks later, and it is.
Yeah.
This seemed like they were serving what they're going to be serving the entire festival.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to go back. And we certainly will try and get over and maybe try a few more dishes if we can next weekend. And then we can just talk about those as we do that whole review. We are not done yet, though, folks. I know this one is running long. We still have a whole other episode to record. We were just having a conversation if we're going to record it tonight after this one, or we might try and knock it out when Rhonda gets home from work on Wednesday. Might have to flip a coin. But before we move on to Akershus that evening, I have a little shout out of a listener, an awesome listener that we met.
Nancy, it was so awesome to meet you. She's from Maryland, and we were eating at America.
Yeah.
And I think she heard me laughing and was like, I recognize that. And came over, and I'm so grateful and thankful you did. It was awesome.
It was great. Yeah, we chatted with her for a bit. Teacher from Maryland.
Yep.
So it's so funny. She said, I think it was her brother teaches at the high school I went to. And I think most likely, she said he's been there about 20 years. I graduated 26 years ago. So I don't know that he was there, but the last name sounded like slightly familiar.
That's funny.
So that would be kind of nuts if I was there and he was there teaching.
Yeah.
But one thing she did do, which was neat, we got to chat with her a little bit about, was did Victoria and Albert's.
She did.
And just said it was absolutely incredible.
And it's cute because, she was like, as a teacher, she just saved her pennies. And honestly, she said that she any birthday or Christmas, she's like, can you just give me money? Because she wanted to do Victoria and Albert's. And I would love to like have her on and kind of like,
I know, maybe we could.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to talk about your experience?
And chat about it, because you know we're not making it there anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on that call. All right. Let's move on. We went back. This was Thursday still, even though we jumped ahead a little bit to Saturday to cover all the food and wine stuff. We went back to the room with Chuck and Amy, got all our stuff in, got everything put away. That's when we went down to Geyser Point, had a drink or two, and then we knew we were going to be heading back to Epcot for dinner at 6:55 p.m. at Akershus. Our first time ever.
Yep.
And I really was super excited for this one.
Yeah.
And I don't really consider myself a character dining person just because I'm awkward. Like I don't really interact. I'm not
Amy's
good at
really good.
Amy and Chuck both are outstanding.
She kills it.
They're so good. So go through our normal bullet points of Akershus, and then we'll talk about our experience, which, spoiler alert, is one of my favorites.
It is Akershus Royal Banquet Hall. This is located in the World Showcase in Norway. This is American and Norwegian. This is character dining, and it is princesses. This is family style. You do get your annual pass 10% off. Breakfast runs from 8:30 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. Lunch is 12:15 to 4:40, and dinner is 5:25 to 8:05 p.m.
Yeah.
And your pricing is $63 per adult plus tax and gratuity, and then $41 per child plus tax and gratuity.
So the interior, I mean, it's Norwegian. It's kind of cathedral. It's, to me, it's Norwegian Le Cellier. It has that same kind of vibe, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's like it's not as dark as Le Cellier.
Right.
But again, there's lots of wood. There's lots of rock work. There's, now this happens much taller ceilings and like chandeliers and stuff.
Yep.
And we actually got sat like right pretty much by the entrance where the princesses would rotate and come through.
It was kind of neat and kind of weird at the same time, I think.
The decor or being where we were?
Being where we were.
Yeah. It was neat to see them make their initial entrance because they literally did it right by our table.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the food first? Talk about the princess interactions? Why don't you talk about the princess interactions? Because you had tons of them with them.
Yeah. We had we had Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
We had Snow White. We had Ariel. And we had Cinderella.
Yep. So, those were the four, right?
Yes.
Now, I believe they can sometimes rotate because I swear I had read at one point that Tiana was part of the rotation. Yeah. So I was super excited, but she was not there.
Yeah, she was not there
that night. But yeah, what's great, and we'll make some comparisons to the character dining at Cape May Cafe because it's a buffet, just the way that it works.
Right.
I will say right now, I much prefer family style dining where they bring everything to your table and you all share as opposed to buffet dining.
Yes.
But here, because everybody is sat during the duration of your meal, you're not getting up to go get more food.
Right.
It's much easier for the princesses to come in. They basically come in the entryway. They announce, they play their song, and then they come in and walk through the entire dining room. And then I think they start on the back end going from table to table to table and greeting with you.
Yes.
Near us, we had one family that looked like maybe, I don't know, 7-8-year-old daughter. And then what looked like maybe a tween daughter or possibly even a teenager, somewhere between 13, 15. I really enjoyed watching them because the tween was just as excited as the 7-8-year-old to get pictures with all the princesses. And then what about the table behind you that we just absolutely loved watching?
It was super cool because it was a mom and dad and their young child. I mean,
did you find out her age? Probably
2,
a year. No, I think
maybe
somewhere between 12 and 18 months. I don't think she was as old as 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see her walk, but she was sitting in a high chair.
Yeah.
She was sitting, but she was adorable. So cute. She had pigtails and literally just the interactions with the princesses watching her was just adorable.
Yeah.
Like all of us got enjoyment out of that.
We really did.
So,
and while I said, that evil queen over at Storybook Dining is probably the best single character interaction you will have out of any character dining we've done, this to me was the best overall interaction. Yeah. I mean, as you were in a tank top, so you had full tattoos showing, which of course included both, princesses and villains on the other side that you're working on. Yeah, just kind of talk about those interactions as they came to the table, because you were super excited to show off
I was.
the tattoos.
Yeah.
So for each of them, and that was a great part. You technically covered each of them. Now, unfortunately for Aurora, you had to show her Maleficent,
right.
dragon, but still.
And then for Snow White, the evil queen,
Yeah,
it's Apple.
that's true. That's true.
I don't have anything for Cinderella.
No, you sure don't.
So,
I think if
but
you go back
then-
full sleeve on that side, you need to put a glass slipper or something in there.
Yeah. But I do have the Dingle Hopper.
That was
And
so
Ariel,
cool.
I think, was the best
Yeah.
interaction.
Well, because she first walked up and she goes, "Ooh, you have hair like me."
Yes.
And here's what's just, I know they're trained to do this. They're all basically improv people.
Mm-hmm.
Princesses. They're improv princesses,
Yeah.
right? But just the interaction in the way that they had a perfect response to almost anything that could be said to them. And they told a story.
Yeah.
You know, she first came around and said, "Oh, you have hair that looks like mine."
Yeah.
And then she said, "All you need is a dingle hopper."
Yeah.
And you showed her, and you're like, "I've got one right here."
Yeah.
And again, and you just went in this like minute or two just interaction back and forth that was so on point.
Yeah. And
Like,
she
it
was the one who
so
said,
good.
"You have it right because there's three."
Yeah, she even said, "I see
not
that."
like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And
She said, "I see that
pointed
you got
to
it
the-
right. It's got 3 prongs on it. Yeah, not like these ones on the table that
Yep.
have 4."
Yep.
And just like to come off the top of
was
their
cool.
head with that, it was just amazing.
Yep.
I love, and again, I just sit there and I don't say a word and I take photos because that's just the way I am. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not the one that likes to be brought into the show. I like to watch the show.
Yeah.
And I had such a great time watching you guys all interact.
Aw.
It was so dang good.
Yeah, it was.
Let's move on to the food. I will run through the menu and then we can kind of discuss each of the items. So they start you off with a field green salad with lingonberry vinaigrette and a lefse with cardamom cinnamon butter.
Oh my goodness.
Next come your traditional Norwegian meatballs, and they are served over mashed potatoes with gravy. They have a grilled salmon with herbed butter, green beans, cooked red cabbage, almost like stewed red cabbage,
Mm-hmm.
macaroni and cheese, and then their Norwegian chicken and dumplings. Let's start off with the field green salad, which comes to the table first, along with your lefse with the cardamom cinnamon butter. What did you think of the salad?
Well, first I'm gonna go ahead and say that everything is gluten free except the lefse, however you say that.
Yeah, out of these 2 items. Yeah, the lefse with the butter is not gluten free, but they
Right,
did
so
bring her
did bring
some
her-
rock hard gluten free rolls that she said
Poor
were similar,
thing.
I think, over to Trails Inn,
Yeah.
right, when we did
Yeah.
breakfast there.
Yep.
So what did you think of the salad as your
I
starter?
liked the salad a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it was really good and refreshing. And of course, I'm like, I don't know what else is coming because I really didn't know what was the menu. And I was like, so I don't want to eat too much of it. But that freaking cinnamon butter. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
it's like rolled. It looks like a crepe to me
Mhm.
almost.
Yeah,
And
like a large
they
rectangular crepe,
yeah,
and it's
they-
all rolled up.
Right. And they suggest unrolling it, put some cinnamon butter, and then roll
Yeah.
it back up and then eat it. And this thing was fantastic.
It was
So good. So
I
good.
Loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, the salad was one of those things where you're almost mad because you're like, this is so delicious. I want to eat all of it, but I
Right.
have other food. Don't
Right.
bring me salad. But it was
But
outstanding.
We ate quite
Yeah.
a few bites.
Refreshing cucumbers, radishes in there,
Mhm.
like a good
What'd
like
you say,
lettuce
pickled,
mix.
A pickled watermelon rind?
Yeah, it had
Like
pickled
a-
watermelon rind in there, or at least
or
watermelon
some-
rind. I don't think it was pickled, but it had watermelon rind
Something
in
like
it.
that, yeah.
That was actually, no, I'm sorry, it's a watermelon radish is
Yes.
what it's called. And those were super good. I
Yeah.
was like finding them and picking them out. Yeah, loved that. And I loved that lefse. These were 2 outstanding starters. Then let's talk kind of about the 2 sides that come in their own separate bowls. They're not in the one big platter.
Right.
One is your mac and cheese, and your other is your Norwegian chicken and dumplings. What did you think?
They were both fantastic. The mac and cheese was really good. I ate quite a bit of that.
This is going to make your picky eaters happy, this mac and cheese.
Yes.
It's a good, creamy,
Yep.
thick noodle mac and cheese. Like, really, really delicious.
Yep. Very good. The chicken and dumplings were really good too.
Yeah.
Really creamy. The dumplings were really good. I really liked this one too.
I
Like,
did too.
a lot.
I mean, I could just eat a whole bowl of this.
Yeah.
Like, if this was an a la carte type place where you're just ordering an entree and stuff, I'd get this as an entree
Mhm.
easily. And in fact, our friend Rob and Tina, they always do these chicken and biscuits in a crock pot, which
Yeah,
is
they're
like a
doing
chicken
them
and dumplings.
tonight too.
Yeah, and the girls absolutely love them.
Mhm.
So I messaged Lacey, I think it was, and was like, I'm eating chicken and dumplings right now. Yeah, the dumplings were perfect too,
Mhm.
because you want a dumpling that has a little bit of density to it. And again, has a little bit of that bite and chew. And then it had nice shredded chicken in it. And then a creamy sauce with it, like gravy. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was one of those I kind of kept going back and getting another forkful.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about some of the sides that came on the platter, including our green beans and our red cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
Green beans were delicious. They were perfectly
Yep,
cooked,
they were.
perfectly seasoned.
Yep. They
Can't
were.
say much else about them. The red cabbage on its own really isn't for me, but we'll talk about what it pairs with that was recommended.
Mm-hmm.
That did kind of work.
So
Grilled salmon with herbed butter. What did you think of that?
It was fine. I wouldn't opt to eat this the most.
You wouldn't order, if this was an
If
entree,
this
you
was-
wouldn't order it.
Correct.
Okay. And it was served like over the green beans.
Yes.
So when it first came to the table and it was hot, I had it and I was like, this is okay. I mean, it's pretty good salmon. About 5 or 10 minutes later, it had come basically to room temperature, almost started to cool down a little bit. And when I tried it then, I liked it a lot better.
Oh, good.
I don't know if just the flavors settled or what, but it was really good, like room temp.
Yeah.
So now I still wouldn't order this as an entree.
Well, the main reason I wouldn't is because literally of the meatballs we're about to talk about and the mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yes, this was the star of the show.
Yes, it was.
Nice, big Swedish meatballs.
You
know, like I think of the ones at like IKEA or ones you might buy frozen in a store, and the real small ones.
Mm-hmm.
These are a good size. Holy moly, this is one thing we got more of.
Mm-hmm. The mashed
this was
potatoes
so
were
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, and
It was-
oh my God, the mashed potatoes were so creamy, and then the
Yes.
gravy. And this is what was recommended you mix a little bit of the red cabbage with, and it actually worked.
It did. I took a few bites of it
Yeah.
too. Now, don't get me wrong. I completely loved it by itself with just the meatballs
Yeah,
and
it
the
didn't
mashed
need the
potatoes.
mix.
Right.
But it still worked.
But it did.
Yeah.
And then I think like I ate some, but then like I actually went ahead and the second time I got some more, I did not get any of the cabbage.
I would order this entree again and again
It was really
if this
good.
was an entree. I absolutely loved it. I think for our next Anyone Can Cook episode, we're going to make this.
Oh.
And they taste like house-made, handmade meatballs.
Mhm.
You know, when you go over to the Italy booth, those meatballs are frozen. They're pre-made somewhere. They're packaged. They're frozen. They heat them up. They do some stuff to them. I feel like there's a little Norwegian lady in the back in the kitchen here rolling by hand these meatballs and flavoring them and everything. And it was so good. And as much as, you know, you go over and like, we really enjoyed Garden Grill when we went there.
Yeah.
Great character interactions, great food, but it's food that we're used to,
Right.
you know, but it's good. You know, Cape May, when we talk about that breakfast, really, really good, but it's food that we're used to.
Right.
I just love these experiences like a Boma, you know, or here
'Cause it's
at
different.
Akershus.
Yeah.
It's just something that we don't get every day.
Yep.
And I'd love this. We had a great time with Chuck and Amy.
Yes, we did.
It was just such a wonderful evening and night and meal. And I was very surprised at how good the food was.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest, this is one that I've looked at this menu and booking a lot of times, and I look at the menu and I'm just like, it's not really doing anything for me. And it did something for me.
Yay.
I enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend this. We've already talked about going back for breakfast because their breakfast is a little bit different than the standard, I think, as well. We'll have to go look at it after this. But, whew. Well, thank you guys for listening to all of this. That's only our Thursday.
Yeah.
We actually don't have near as much, I feel like, to cover Friday and Saturday on the next episode. But we will talk real quickly about the flavors of Florida with Steve Lewis from Gideon's, which was super fascinating and interesting.
Yeah,
but we won't go into every detail. We'll give you a cool little notes on it and the history and stuff of Gideon's some. Yak and Yeti lunch. Hope it was good. We will talk real quickly about our awesome meetup at Geyser Point. We'll talk about Cape May Cafe breakfast. So that will be coming to you on Friday. So make sure you tune in. But thank you guys so much for listening. Really, really appreciate it. Hopefully this helps with your food and wine needs. And if you are getting ready to book food and wine, of course, reach out to Chuck and Amy. Get a free quote at mainstmagictravel.com. Hit that subscribe button. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And I would be thankful, Rhonda would be thankful, if you would please leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.